as this is going on, as we're collecting this data. Now, here again is where those angular structures are. I overlaid this graphic on the boat formation there. Um, and then this is actually some of the areas where we were seeing some of the parallel lines. But the one that got the guy really interested that they show on the Science Channel TV episode, it was all done back in 2019 and analyzed in 2020. And everything was left alone. It was earlier this last year. I talked to Dr. Sally Brock Tuta and I said, "Hey, do you know somebody who could reanalyze our data as a second opinion just to see what they could find?" And he said, "Oh yeah, I know this lady. She's an expert, has 40 years experience in this field. She's a geophysicist from the United States, and she probably will do this for free." And so we sent her all our gigabytes of data, and and we got the initial results back just about, let's see, it was the end of November. I think I had a Zoom call with her, and they're still going through the data. But she said she had found some really interesting features. She wanted to know if we had dug a tunnel on the site because she was seeing a void-like tunnel going down the middle of the boat. I believe it was shown to be about it started out about 4 meters and then going down to six something meters. So big enough, she said, for somebody to walk through. She called it a tunnel. She thought maybe that they had put utility lines there. I said, no, this is the middle of a landslide mud flow. There's no utility lines ever dug there. Um, and so she sent us this graphic, and here's the first one I want to point out. Now, she was also finding a parallel one just to the left on the western edge of the boat formation. So down, this is the upper end of the boat, what you're looking at the bottom of the screen where the arrows are pointing at. And this, as she was saying, is a tunnel that is not filled in yet. Like she said, it's not mud or anything else, it's air. And it's big enough for someone to walk in. And there's a broken up one to the left of it, but this one that's down the middle, she said it's pretty well preserved, and it goes down to the middle of the ship where there's a big rock, but this is below where that rock is. And what was really interesting, she said that it opens up to a central big void, like a big room, she called it, in the middle of the ship. So this will again be below where that rock you see. I'll show some photographs later. I've been there so many times, I assume everybody knows what I'm talking about sometimes. But anyways, this red area that you're seeing in the arrows there, they're pointed out, and I put a yellow box around. This is the middle of the ship where there's a rock outcrop, which we'll talk about briefly. And she was saying that below that, there's a pretty big room that goes down from, I'm gonna have to look, let's see, it's saying 7 meters all the way down. It's even before 7 meters depth, but it's going all the way down from 7 meters to 13 and a half meters. So a pretty good size room. Now, if you've ever been to the Kentucky Arc, the by Answers in Genesis, the Ark Encounter, you'll know they actually have a kind of a central atrium where they say, like, okay, maybe this is how the light and air got through all the three floors of the boat. We don't, of course, don't know what this is yet, but it's interesting that she was able to look at the data and see this tunnel, maybe the central hallway, and a possible broken up one on the left side going to the top of this big pit, you can call it, or room, as she called it. Again, things need to be excavated to really determine what that is, but these are, again, suggestive that there's something there. And we do have a surprise for another part of these scans. She was able to show that we're not releasing yet because we have some Israeli press interested in the story, and so we have to keep it for them. Then we can maybe do a follow up, or we can just put out the link and you guys can read about it later. But she was able to get some more data from these scans, suggesting a layout of what's below the ground. So let's put it that way.